We also have another and university. We also have some suggestion program where we have basis for it.
Moi University and University of Gezira, Sudan. Responding on position papers, the group of Water and Energy is still working on responding to this call. And for calls of proposal, we have two. The group of Water and Energy has responded to NOPAT All for Wash proposal, where it has won 6 million NOK. And it has also responded to a proposal of Interact Africa, where it has won 1.8 million euros. Responding to the update of Academic Center of Excellency in Phytochemical, Textile and Renewable Energy, second phase of incubation centers. So far, the ACE has received the funding through Kenya National Innovation Agency that has funded for 3 phases, but also there has been a collaboration between the ACE and COPAC and Chitos from Japan, where they have technology transfer to improve the incubation centers. Lessons learned throughout the project. We've learned the importance of collaborative approach to address regional development challenges. We've also learned strategic partnership, that when we are responding to a call, it's good to know which country is going to benefit you while winning the call. We've also learned that capacity building of staff is crucial. We've also learned that visibility of the center and university in terms of information on websites is very crucial to promoting the sustainability of the center and the university. Key successes from Water and Energy Group. We have jointly secured funding for collaborative projects through NOPAT All for Wash, where we've had student exchange through summer school and cultural, and through the summer schools, we've also had cultural exchange and experience. We've also learned that we need funding to continue. We've also learned that we need more capacity building for staff so that we can achieve our goals. We've also learned that intensive collaboration is important for us to continue solving the different challenges that we face. Addressing the last questions on the plans we have to continue engagement post the World Bank support. We still plan to have joint conferences between the 3 ACEs on the Water and Energy Group. We plan to have proposal writing together as a group, student and staff exchange. We also plan to engage with the industry to fill the gap between the academia and industry to enhance successful commercialization. We also plan to explore joint academic programs where we would have the three ACEs teaching the same program and teachers and student exchange. And then we also plan to, the ACE from Water Management ACE from Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, plan to visit the ACE of Phytochemical, Textile and Renewable Energy in Moi University to continue the engagement. Yeah, thank you very much for listening. That's from Energy and Water Group.
Thank you very much, the Water Group. The next group we said was Health. The Health Group. Can we have someone to come forward? Industry, prepare yourselves.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. So the health group comprises of ASAIDA from University of Zambia, CDT Africa from University of Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, and we have Pharma Biotrack from Uganda, ASEFAM from Malawi, and SACIDS ACA from SUA, Tanzania. So, there are 5 centers in this, and generally what we did previously is we wrote joint proposals. There were joint proposals written by ASAIDA and SACIDS. We submitted proposals to Pandemic Fund and USAID LEAP. Unfortunately, both these proposals were not successful. And at the moment, as I'm speaking, we are trying to write another one. And also there were exchanges. There were exchanges between ASEFAM and Farm Biotrack, SACIDS and ASAIDA. And also one thing is one of the students who graduated from SACIDS at SUA actually became part of the evaluation team, which visited the ASAIDA at the University of Zambia for evaluation of the programs for international accreditation. So we thought that was a good success. And the lessons learned is that actually networking assisted us to achieve some DLI. And also we were able to leverage on each other's resources. For example, when you do the exchange, you share the costs. One center pays for the air ticket and the other one pays for the upkeep allowances. And we also, this networking helped us also to mobilize resources. So the successes which were scored is we had the establishment of a high-tech lab at ACTD, Africa. And also these centers help to increase the visibility of the hosting universities. And also there was, like I mentioned previously, there was the issue of capacity building for the students who was incorporated into the evaluation of programs for international accreditation. So in future, we want to continue collaboration. We will continue with staff and student exchanges. We'll continue writing joint proposals, and we want to establish a regional consortium in health research, and also we'll work a program for us to continue having virtual meetings so that all this is achieved. Thank you.
Thank you, health, industry, incubation centers, prepare yourselves.
The PowerPoint? The PowerPoint? Hello, thanks very much indeed. We are now presenting the industry group, next slide. Under the industry group, we have the following, these are the topics we are going to cover under the industry group: joint and bilateral accreditation, sharing of teaching expertise, joint research and publication, exchanges. I don't know whether we have one meeting behind that side, mistress of ceremony. I'm not listening to the people behind there. Hello? Oil and gas, are we together? Yes, yeah. So we are going to cover exchanges. Then number 5, the development and accreditation. Then the development of joint proposals. Right, next. Now, we have the following compositions of the centers of excellence. The members are Professor Mbale speaking from Esizim, Zambia, Professor Antonio Kumbenet of Mozambique under the Center of Excellence, I think, for oil and gas. Then we have got Professor Luis Lucas. We have Professor Damieni Anyui Mfula, Professor Charles Rulanga, Professor Lakan, Dr. Rose Ramakant from Petrie. Then we have Egle Samoi from Petrie as well. Then we have Naomi Nkonje from Petrie, that's Moi University in Kenya. Right, next. Right, so joint proposals. So there's a joint proposal by oil and gas, Petrie, Mbarara University and Ababa, where they jointly developed a proposal and they won EU funding project named Interact Africa. Yeah, they won the EU funding, which was a great achievement. Then the next, Petrie jointly working with the SPEC for technology transfer or stain product for road construction and as well as fish pond construction. Yeah, that's Petrie jointly working with the SPEC for technology transfer of stain product for road construction, and the other one is fish pond production. Then the other joint proposal was on by IoT Center of Excellency. They developed and submitted a proposal for Erasmus Mundus funding. That's the joint proposal. Next slide. Right. Then you have got joint or regional accreditation. Right. Copperbelt University Africa Center of Excellency, they're undergoing the regional accreditation. Recently, just last week, we had a team from East African community who came to assess and process the regional accreditation, and you're waiting for the results. I'm sure yesterday my colleague did gave some highlights on the process where it is now. So we're just waiting for results from the East African community. Secondly, we have the ESD and IoT have developed the required documents for regional accreditation. As you are aware that this DLI, it has been very challenging, especially on the acquisition of the regional accreditation. It has been a challenge to most of the centers. Right. Then we have got oil and gas, preparing the report for regional accreditation as well. Then for 2 programs. Maybe what I didn't highlight on the first one. We submitted for 2. The other one, we need to make some corrections, some improvements, something like that. Then the other one is one which went through the stage of the physical visitation by the East and African community. So also oil and gas, they have got 2 programs which they are prepared for regional accreditation. That's about regional accreditation. Next. Right. So sharing of teaching expertise. So the Center for IoT and Addis Ababa University, they're in collaboration to share the teaching expertise. Some staffs from IoT went to Addis Ababa and vice versa. That's about the teaching expertise, sharing of teaching expertise. Next. Right. Now, joint research, training, and publication. We have got these 2 centers, that's the Petrie and IoT centers, where they have got have joint research among the students from both centers. That's Petrie, that's from Moi University, and IoT, I suppose, from Rwanda, not so, right? Okay. Then we have a number of some research publication from ESISM, that's the Copperbelt University in Zambia. Right, next. Right, so on exchanges, now we are giving a report from May 2023 to date. That's May 2023 to date. Yeah. Under the, I suppose that's the oil and gas. They have exchanges with the Makerere University, that is in Uganda, and the Malawi universities. Then the other exchanges is between the Petrie and the university, Malawi University, where Petrie hosted the exchange for the Malawi students and so forth. So here we have got only 2. The exchanges, right? Next. Right. Now, this is a joint academic programs. These joint academic programs, accreditation I've already discussed it earlier. So here is about academic programs, right? So we have got the oil and gas, the 4 members to Copperbelt University, that is this year, it's just recently, for program development in sustainable mining. So our host here, they went to our university, that is ESISM Center, where the 4 staff members were involved on the program development in sustainable mining. Then the other program development is on ACE-ESD Masters, a review in collaboration with the Chalmers University of Technology, that is Sweden. So these are the 3 joint academic programs which were undertaken the period between the period from May this year up to date in November. Right, next. Right. Now, thank you very much indeed. This was our presentation. Thank you, Mistress of Ceremony.
Thank you very much, industry. Incubation centers. This is our final presentation. Then we can have feedback before we break off for tea.
Can you comment that?
Oh, sorry. I copied.
You have a spec, give me this. Which one? Which one?
Where's the hard copy here? So we had 5 innovation incubation centers, which were presented in the group. One is Great Innovation Hub, Rwanda, Data-Driven Incubation Hub, Mahist, Farm-Truck Innovation Hub, Bara University, PTRE Innovation Center, Moi University, and Taste Agro Hub, Malawi. So thank you very much, IT, for putting it up. I have to put in the camera. Okay, let me be there. So, innovation, incubation is one of the drivers of economy. From theory to practice. Next. So, we have made a small brainstorming session this morning, and we have updates. So far, you see the different centers have funding of different levels. We have 4 centers which are mature, have 2-3 years experience, and 1 center in the far left, which is young, which is starting. We have got funding for different levels, and the first one received 40,000 so far and has the first cohort of 30 incubatees. The second one, $250,000, 2 cohorts of 12 incubatees and 3 companies registered. GREET has funding from 2 sources, from the Inter-University Council, World Bank, and from the UNDP, external funding. And they have 3 cohorts of 45 incubatees so far, and 4 registered companies. FarmBioTruck has 2 funding, one from Inter-University Council, World Bank, and one from African Development Bank through RUF Forum, Regional Forum for Agriculture Research in Africa. And the program was called RECAP. We have 2 cohorts of 30 incubatees and 28 companies registered. Some have also split on their companies we have not yet in our radar, but there are more than 28. PTRE has 3 phases from Kenyan government. As you see, this center got internal funds from the Kenyan Innovation Fund, which is applaudable. Thank you for that. Great work done. They have 2 partners, Japanese. One is the Kopernik and the other one Chitose. I know several centers have participated in the process of getting these partners. I'm happy to see that one got the partnership. Thank you. Next. Lessons learned. Mindset change for recruitment of students is one of the key issues, that it's not well known what is innovation incubation and how to start a business. The data-driven center said procurement procedure are lengthy, and the university is not used to innovation. This is a new field. Universities, it's difficult for them to understand in the beginning. FarmBioTruck, innovation incubation is a new field at universities. Young students interested, access to be enhanced for people far from the university. Higher? Okay, good. PTRE, strategic partnerships, capacity building of staff. Visibility on website was enhanced through the center. Next. Success. The first Agribis, recruitment of first cohort in process. Partnership and collaboration built and others in process. Data-driven center, 3 spin-off running, data-driven mini factory with 7 spin-off created, IP management of the university developed, and commercializing company holding for the university registered, attached to industrial partners. GRID created 2 cohorts, 4 companies created, secured 1 patent. Companies is registered with Rwanda Standards Board. From BioTrack, we have 28 companies registered, 1 museum of natural products, over 30 products developed, different types, medicine, cosmetics, health drinks, pharmaceutical ingredients, among others. PRTE developed commercialization master plan for the university, enhanced collaboration, and 1 product biopreservative ready for market and patenting. Next. What are our plans for the future? Agribis Hub said increasing fundraising capacity from external funders. Data-driven innovation, growing commercializing of existing innovations. They are in-house and also they are externals. Attract more incubatees, developing regional level of innovation center. Great innovation, new funding from UNDP. That's what they have done. Utilizing the market space on hosting over 50 incubatees at once. So they have created a space for innovation incubation where 50 incubatees at once can come. From BioTrack, commercializing of products in-house developed, establishing a physical space to host residential incubatees. And for that, we created the Friends of Farm BioTrack Foundation to attract philanthropists among other funders. PRTE, commercializing of in-house innovated products, offer tech skills for a free training and consultancies. And all of us, all the innovation centers, have 1 big pledge. Please, reiterate, grant to be advanced to innovation hubs from the World Bank. We need more. $250 is little for innovation incubation. That's 1 question. How many scholarships you give to students to do a degree, a paper, master, PhD? You get many. Huh? But why? That is a question. Why innovators are not getting scholarships? You put young innovators on a 2-year scholarship, 3-year scholarship, like a master student, like a PhD. Give them free money, 2 to 3 years, free money, like a student. And the output is a company of minimum employed 3 people. That is the thesis they would get afterward. How many jobs can you create with 1 student, but this time called incubatee? When you create master and PhD, you create employees most of the time. But when you give stipends to innovators, you create jobs. So that is an idea. Give scholarships to innovators. Why? Many innovators have a challenge. They have no money, but you have to care for family. They have to care for themselves. They have to pay transport, rent, like any other student. But they do not have the privilege of having scholarships. Thank you. We need scholarships for innovators.
Thank you very much. Incubation hubs, scholarships for innovators, feedback. Time. We just have time for 2 questions or comments as we end our session.
Thank you very much. And Anke, for the last question, the last presentation, I like the idea you're raising about scholarships for innovators. But I wanted to ask, what is the sustainability plan for the incubation centers? The understanding, I guess, is that the students who come, if I call them students because of the scholarships, they receive skills that allow them to start up or at least improve their businesses and ideas that are money making in the future. So the idea is that once they leave, they should be able to attract or make more money, to make it simple. How are those funds potentially could be used to support the actual trainings and the incubation center? Is there any discussion along those lines, and what can be done to improve them?
Danish.
Yeah, thank you very much for your question. I just forgot to put it in. The time was very brief. One thing is royalties. So incubatees in our center from BioTrack, they sign a contract and have to pay 5% of the factory gate price as royalty back to the center. There are two snacks, these two challenges. One, the willingness to pay for incubatees need to be enhanced. There's still a laxity because it strains them on the starting of the business. Two, there needs to be a commercial arm of the university so that money generated goes to in a commercial account and can be utilized commercially. For example, hand sanitizer during COVID time. You buy alcohol through procurement for 50,000 Uganda shillings a liter. But the market price for the final product is 30,000 a liter. So can you make business? No, because of the stringent procurement procedures in universities. A way is to create a holding where the university has a company and then it runs business-like, so that when the money comes in, it's given back to the center in form as business, because you have to pay low market price. Procurement price is often higher and take long. So if there's an opportunity, you can't catch it because the procurement process is long. So royalty is one. Another one is consultancy. As you saw in our space, the foundation, Farm BioTrack Foundation, that is sustainability. We are doing fundraising globally now to build infrastructure and have in-house incubatees. When you have all the in-house incubatees, it's easier also to manage their outputs because you know what comes out of the incubator. So these are one of the responses.
Thank you very much. One last contribution or question.
Thank you. My question is again for the incubation center. I want to know how interested are industries to link with any of these incubation centers? Have they already won their confidence on you? Thank you.
I'll take one last comment.
Thank you very much. Mine is just a comment. I like the ideas expressed here in terms of sustainability, in particular, the application for grants. And more importantly, the Erasmus Plus actions. I think the process is quite long. We need to start very early. The call just came out yesterday. And therefore, our advice would be to really start early without waiting for February when the call will close. So that's just an advice. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A response?
I, i- in our case, most of the industrial partners are aware of what we are doing. And above all, we want to do an open day where we can promote and exhibit all our products and invite all the leading industries who are supposed to be part of the, are in that space. So they'll come and see what we are producing. They'll come and see the production line. And from there, we believe able to sell the products, the innovations, and that's how we are going to go about it. And so far, so good. We've got quite a number of people who are already interested, are already asking. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we've come to the end of our academic network session. I'd like to thank all of you for your contributions. This has been indeed very encouraging, and I hope we will take up the last part where we said the way forward, our future intentions after 31st December. We will be following up with all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nele. Let's thank her for the session. So it's almost a 11:15. We were supposed to go for break. So maybe we will do our break in 20 minutes, since we will be moving into, so that we don't eat too much into our next session, which should have started by 10:30. So let's have a break for 20 minutes. Then we move into the next session where Technopolis will make some presentation on the results of verification. So enjoy your breakfast. And the online team, you can take off some 20 minutes and you have some coffee break. See you in 20 minutes.
Thank you, Dixon. Sure.
From innovative teaching and learning mathematics and science with those distribution of gender. Next, please. These are short courses. Yes, I think as many colleagues mentioned yesterday, we have done many short courses even than what we anticipated.
It can be as an institute that is running, but of course within the university. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Paul. I hope you can stay on because there's going to be more discussions after we have heard from the remaining groups. at this
Yes, I will be on.
yeah, at this time, I think we could take a reduced tea break. It was 30 minutes, maybe 10 to 20 minutes. Would it work so that we can catch up on time? Thank you very much.
Hi, actually, could I come in for a second? It's Roberta. I'm so sorry I couldn't be there, but I know there were some questions in the room and I can only join for a short while. So is it okay if I just take a minute to see if there are any questions remaining in the room that you wanted to ask me while I'm here?
Sure. She wants to ask. Okay, I'll let you ask your
I think
question.
most things probably were addressed, but if there's anything that you really wanted to pose, then I'm happy to do it now. Even if people get coffee, but if there are people who wanted to ask questions, then you could ask questions. I'll just hang out here while you're getting questions.
And also, this networking helped us also to mobilize resources. So the successes which were scored is we
No, I
had
can't
the establishment of
speaking on
the
a
high-tech
phone,
lab,
so I really just wanted to give it
ACTV,
down.
Africa,
If there were questions
and
about
also
expenditures,
these
but you
centers
can't all
help
those, I
to
think
increase the visibility of the hosting universities. And also there was, like I mentioned previously, there was the issue of capacity
there was a
for
question
the
about
student who was
international
incorporated into the
if
evaluation
there is
of
anything outstanding that
programs for
people just want to
international
understand sort of the bank's
accreditation.
position and it wasn't
So
clarified yesterday.
in
then I'm here to
future,
help answer
we
some of
want
those.
to continue
Otherwise,
collaboration.
Please go get coffee. It's
We
fine. I don't need the
continue
airtime.
with
I just wanted to give
staff
people a
and
chance to ask
student
questions if there
exchanges.
was any.
We'll continue writing joint proposals, and we want to establish
this-
a regional consortium in health research, and
Okay.
also
Thank
we'll
you.
work a program for us to continue having
Thank you. Let's
virtual
take a
meetings so that all
tea
this is
break and
achieved.
then-
Thank you.
Who, me?
Thank you, health,
Are you going?
industry,
No, I have to
incubation
leave, but,
centers.
Mallory will
prepare
take
yourselves.
some questions until noon your time, and then she has to head to the airport. But I will check back in. If there are questions that people want to ask me specifically, there is a question about accreditation. Just to say to all of you, anything that's accomplished before December 31st will be taken into account.
Hello. Thanks very much indeed.
That is
We are now
100%.
presenting the industry
Anything
group,
that happens
the
after
industry group.
31st, 2023
Next
from
slide.
countries other than Malawi and
Under the
Zimbabwe
industry
will
group,
not be counted for December.
we have the
So
following.
if you have a way to
These are the
accelerate
topics we are going to
anything that
cover
you
under
have
the
in
industry
motion
group:
right now,
joint and bilateral accreditation,
for the 31st,
sharing of
please make sure
teaching
you do that.
expertise,
And if you need some
joint
support,
research
please
and
do it, or the bank
publication,
to do that. Don't wait
exchanges. I don't know whether we have one meeting
Sure,
behind
take
that side.
to see if something may or may not
Mistress
be
of
happening.
ceremony.
Check in with us right away.
I'm
We
not,
are trying
and
to
listen,
really
the
push
people
this
behind
out.
there. Hello?
We know many of you know we
Oil
restructured
and
some of
gas,
your
are we together?
country context
Yes,
financing
yeah.
in order to
So we are going
move
to
funds
cover
around,
exchanges,
disperse
then
those
number
funds
5,
before
the
31st.
development and
Any
accreditation,
expenditures that have
then the
been,
development of joint proposals. Right,
paid
next.
out during the grace period, but no
Now,
new
we have the
expenditures
following
will be
compositions
made
of the
after
centers
31st
of excellence.
December. I know
The
we
members
have
are Professor Mbale speaking from Esizim, Zambia, Professor Antonio Krumenet of Mozambique under the Center of Excellence, I think, for oil and gas.
from what you've
Then we have got Professor Luis Lucas. We have Professor Damieni Anyui Mfula, Professor Charles Rulanga, Professor Lakan,
Hi, Richard.
Dr. Rose Ramakant from Petrie. Then we have Egle Samoy from Petrie as well.
probably can pay out for.
Van Biotrack has two funding, one from Inter-University Council World Bank and one from African Development Bank through RUF Forum, Regional Forum for Agriculture Research in Africa. And the program was called RECAP. We have two cohorts of 30 incubatees and 28 companies registered.
I will come back from
Have also
Rec
split
T.
their companies.
Members who are out,
in
please.
our radar, but they are more than 28.
I would recommend getting.
Yeah, PTRA
Starting-
has three
we are
phases
starting-
from Kenyan government. As you see, this center.
So let's settle and so that
chunk
we
of funds
start our
from the
presentation.
Kenyan Innovation Fund, which is applaudable. Thank you for that. Great work done. They have two partners, Japanese. One is the Kapanik and the other one Chitose. I know several centers have participated in the process of getting these partners. I'm happy to see that one got the partnership. Thank you. Next.
Yes,
And you've
then
kind of been
the
waiting to
professor.
let the
Lessons learned.
supplier or the
Mindset.
contractor, whoever it is, submit their.
Members, please, let's take our seats.
January, maybe.
You can walk in with your tea.
It's not well known what is innovation incubation and how to start a business.
If the
The
invoice or anything
data-driven
comes in after
sender
the 30
said
there is no way. to
procurement procedure are lengthy. And the university is not used to innovation. This is a new field. Universities, it's difficult for them to understand in the beginning. From Biotrack, innovation incubation is a new field at universities. Young students interested, access to be enhanced for people far from the university. Higher? Okay. Good. PTI, strategic partnerships, capacity building of staff. Visibility on website was enhanced through the center. Next. Success. The first Agripis, recruitment of first cohort in process. Partnership and collaboration built and others in process. Data-driven center, 3 spin-off running. Data-driven mini factory with 7 spin-off created. IP management of the university developed, and commercializing company holding for the university registered. Attached to industrial partners. GRID graduated 2 cohorts, 4 companies created, secured 1 patent. Companies is registered with Rwanda Standards Board. From Biotrack, we have 28 companies registered, 1 museum of natural products, over 30 products developed, different types, medicine, cosmetics, health drinks, pharmaceutical ingredients, among others. PRTE developed commercialization master plan for the university, enhanced collaboration, and 1 product biopreservative ready for market and patenting. Next. What are our plans for the future? Agripis Hub said increasing fundraising capacity from external funders. Regional.
Hello? Too loud. Eh? Yes, we have Technopolis team online. They are going-
Utilizing the
Okay, just a minute, okay. Okay, thank you so much. Welcome back from Rec T. We are going into our next session, which is a presentation of results from Technopolis. I'll request the Technopolis team I don't know, are we starting with student data? Anna and Tim.
Hello, everyone. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, 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 we can hear you.
Okay, great.
And we see your slides.
Great. So thank you all for allowing us to be here today. It's going to be me, Veerle Bastiaanse, and my colleague Stephanie Bonnier, who will be doing the presentation. We will both cover the non-student and the student data in this presentation. And thank you again for allowing us to be here and give this presentation. We will start with a short introduction. Afterwards, we will go into the results of ACE2, both student and non-student. So that's for all the centers for whom this is the final verification round. And afterwards, we'll go into the ACE2 additional financing centers and discuss a few issues going forward there as well. And we'll end with a Q&A session. So for those who don't know, at this point, we are from Technopolis Group. Technopolis Group is an independent consulting firm with over 30 years of experience in public policy consulting and evaluations. And we have offices in Europe, Latin America, and Africa. And we are mainly active in higher education, research, innovation, environment, health, and international cooperation. Within ACE2 and ACE2 additional financing, we are acting as the independent verification agent, which means that we are involved in the verification process of PVCs 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We do that based on the verification methodology that's based on the PAD operational manual and has been discussed and agreed upon with both IUCA and the World Bank. We've over the years created a very robust verification methods and tools in coordination with IUCA and the World Bank going back to 2018. At this point in time, the fall 2022 round is the last verification round for the majority of the centers, and it's the first verification round for ACE2 additional financing centers. We will be sharing the preliminary results today based on the verification processes, and as we're still in discussion about certain topics with the World Bank and IUCA, and the final results will follow. So to start with the last verification round of ACE2, where we are in the verification process for the student data is that the verification process is closed and that the centers have been given the opportunity to provide feedback, and we've responded to that feedback, and that we've created the initial disbursement calculations and shared those with both IUCA and the World Bank. We still have a discussion coming up to finalize those. So for the student data, DLI 2.2 and 2.6, we had a total reported amount of students of 1,404, of which 80% were eligible for verifications, which means that all the information was filled in for those students and they hadn't been submitted for those DLIs before. We had a response rate of roughly 77%, and then we verified 69% of the students. This is the same responses and verification split out across the different centers. As you can see, the verification rates are highest among masters and PhDs, and slightly lower for the exchanges and the short courses. The majority of what I want to discuss with you today, however, is this disbursement calculations, as they are slightly different this year than they've been from previous rounds. As you are aware, the disbursement for DLI 2.2, so that's short courses, masters and PhDs, is split up into an academic accomplishment part and a base disbursement part. We've discussed this in previous terms as well. And the academic accomplishment is made up of master students that have graduated and PhD students that have received, that had their research proposal approved. So if students have achieved those things, then they are eligible for the academic accomplishment percentages. And normally we do that based on the regular verification process, and then we take the part of the PhD students. We ask them if they have completed their if they have the research approval proposals approved, and if that's the case, then we split that out towards the academic accomplishment cap. In this round, though, we've had, aside from the normal verification round and the normal processes that we always go through, we had two additional steps. One was the academic accomplishment survey, where we sent every master student that has previously been verified under the ACE program a survey to ask if they've graduated the program by now. And if they had, then an additional amount per student that responded to the survey and per student that indicated that they had graduated, we disperse an additional amount for those students to count toward that academic accomplishment cap. Additionally, we also calculated the retroactive regional disbursement. And I've skipped this slide, so I'm just going to skip ahead. And the retroactive regional disbursement is something that is not as visible for you in the process, but basically what we've done there is kept track over all of the years that we've done the verification of regional students that were verified and that we had dispersed, but that had not been used to disperse national students. Because as you know, the requirement under the verification process is that 20% of the students is regional. And if it's not, then we can't disperse national students. And so far we've calculated that on a year-by-year basis, on a round-by-round basis, but we haven't looked yet to see if there were students from previous rounds that we could use to disperse in other rounds. And that's the calculation that we have done additionally this year. So that means that all national students that were verified but not dispersed in previous rounds were weighed up against all regional students that were verified and dispersed but weren't used to disperse national students in the past. And then we've calculated that per center across all of the rounds. So that's an additional disbursement that we've calculated in the total disbursements that you will receive this round. But please note that we are limited to the capped amounts. So we can't disperse above the capped amounts. And if your center had a higher potential disbursement, either in this round itself or due to the academic accomplishment survey or due to the retroactive regional disbursement, we still can't disperse higher than the capped amount. So we've dispersed whatever we could until that cap was reached. And then we arrive at what that means. And what that means is that the vast majority of the centers across have achieved DLI 2.2. There are 4 centers at this point that have not. But the vast majority of centers have achieved the capped amount under DLI 2.2. And as you can see, we've also split that out in the base disbursement and the academic accomplishment disbursement to show you where the differences are. For DLI 2.6, the process was a lot easier because we didn't have the academic accomplishment survey for this, or we did have the retroactive distribution. So what you can see here is the total disbursement per center under DLI 2.6. And as we know, DLI 2.6 has been a bit more difficult to achieve for a lot of the centers. The only thing I need to highlight here is that Aquafish, we've dispersed under the new structure, and we're still in discussions with IUCA and the World Bank about how to approach that going forward. So you will hear from us on that regard. Stephanie, can I give you the floor?
Yes, thank you, Fairly. So I was in charge of verification of the non-student data. So mainly the accreditation, partnerships, and publication. Next slide, please. Okay, so for the last round, so we can see here the disbursement trend for each of the PBC. So we move from 56% in spring to 62% in fall for the accreditations, and almost the same for the partnerships and the publication. So for this last round, 20 ACs have reached the amount for national accreditation, 7 for the international accreditation, and 1 ACE has not yet received any disbursement for accreditation. So okay, thank you. And for the partnership, is slightly the same numbers than what we have in spring, based on the data we received. And for the and for the publication, I mean, since last round, almost all the centers have reached the capped amount, and only 1 is at the very low disbursement level for the publications. So that's basically all what we can say about the non-student publication data. Overall, we receive a very good quality of data, and we noticed that centers have used the feedback on data to provide additional information, but we still have some few issues. Oh, okay, perfect. We still have some few issues on data submitted. Supporting documentation is missing for most of the accreditation, and sometimes regarding partnership, work plan and budget are still not clear. Like, we don't know who does what and who farms the what. So these are the main lesson learned from for the last round of verification under ACE2. The floor over to you, Fairly, for the additional funding.
Yes, so for the additional funding part, where Stephanie has already corrected that for the previous, for ACE2, we're talking about DLIs, DLRs, and for ACE2 additional financing, we're talking about PCB, so performance-based conditions. So you'll see that switch in our language as well. For the student data, these are the rules that we've that may have slightly changed from ACE2 to ACE2 additional financing. Specifically, the fact that students are enrolled after November 2022 are eligible for verification under ACE2 additional financing. What stayed the same is that the student can only be verified once for one exchange, for one master, for one PhD, and for one short course. We did see that a number of students were submitted multiple times for multiple exchanges, for example. Please note that we can't verify them for more than one. Additionally, for short courses, we are now requiring a certificate of completion to be received by a student in order for the verification to be possible. There under PBC2, there is also no regionality threshold anymore, so you don't need the 20% regionality anymore in order to be dispersed. Master students will be verified after 1 semester of them studying at the center, and under PBC6, online exchanges are now eligible for verifications, though at different amounts than the physical exchanges. That was something we already started doing under ACE2, but we now have concrete rules and disbursement amounts around that. So what we saw is that 4 of the new centers submitted under PBC2 and 4 centers submitted under PBC6. These are not exactly the same centers, so we had multiple centers, more than 4 who submitted under this. So what I really wanted to talk with you today about is that we give an overview, and each center gets a center report at the end of the process. And in that center report, we have an overview of if the student is verified. If they are verified, then it says student verified. If they are not verified, then we indicate that in the file, and the language we use for that might sometimes be a bit confusing, which is why I want to explain this. So no response is the easiest to explain, in that the student did not respond to the survey and has not responded to the verification calls. If a student is deemed as non-eligible or wrongly reported, that means that they were eliminated from the process earlier in one of the early steps, namely after we've given the initial feedback and you've had the chance to resubmit your data, because not all of the information required for the verification was submitted, or the information provided indicated that the student was not eligible for verifications. Could also be that the student was submitted multiple times. In that case, one of the entries will be marked, or if you've added them 3 times, then 2 of the entries will be marked as non-eligible, while 1 will be. And the same goes for if a student was submitted for multiple exchanges or short courses. If we say that a student did not confirm enrollment, that means that they indicated in the survey or on the phone that they did not study at any ACE or are not enrolled at any of the ACEs that we list in the survey, or that the student indicated that they studied at a different ACE. Please be aware that this is a question that we ask in the survey, and that your students are aware of the names of the ACE centers, because we sometimes note that students do indicate that they study at a different ACE that's located at the same university, but that they don't click the exactly correct ACE. In those cases, we try to be as lenient as we can, but please do some sensitization with the students so that they are aware at what ACE they study at. And other reasons for non-verification you can find in your sheets are, for example, different country of exchange, different gender, different year of enrollment. And that would be that the student gave information in the survey that was different than the information that was provided to us by the center. Please be aware that that is the basis of our entire verification methodology. So please check the information that you provide to us to make sure that it is correct, so that these issues do not occur. Additionally, please note that I've been saying student throughout this, and it might be, but this also applies to faculty. It's just the terminology that we use in the sheets. One thing I want to highlight, because we've seen over the years that this is a difficult category to fill in the data submission, is the country of exchange. And it's important in the country of exchange that you fill in the country that the exchange is with. So for incoming students, that means that you fill in the country that they are coming from. And for outgoing students, the country that they are going to. We see sometimes that centers list the country where the center is located, but that means that we can't cross-check if the exchange is national or international or regional. So please, in the data submission, we've tried to clarify it in the template as much as possible, but please fill in the country that the exchange is with. And as a general reminder, for the highest possible verification rates, please use the template and check if everything's filled in. Check with the students to see if their contact information is correct. Because if we don't have the correct emails or email addresses or emails bounce because the email addresses aren't correct, then that makes the process a lot more difficult. So also check with them if the phone number provided is an actual phone number. And if the phone number is unique to that student. And please don't resubmit data from previous rounds for students that have been verified. We do filter for this, but it makes the process a lot more difficult. So please only submit data for students that haven't been verified. If you had a student from a previous round that has been verified, then you don't need to resubmit them. But if you have submitted them in the past and they have not been verified, you are of course allowed to resubmit them. And please optimize the reporting of the students using the feedback round. We give a couple of times, we give the opportunity to provide us feedback, and please make use of that because it helps us be as it helps us to be as good as we can in the process, and it helps us also know what concerns are there for the ACEs, for you guys, so that we can make sure that we reduce the chances of those in the future. And of course, as always, if students run into issues, please have them contact us at ACE2 at Technopolis Group directly, mentioning their full name, unique ID, center, and all the information on the slide so that we can help them as quickly as possible. Please have the students contact us so we can ask them additional questions if we need to. And please have them contact us while the survey or calls are ongoing, because the moment we start into the calculation process, we can't take that feedback into account. So please have them contact us while we can still use it. Stephanie.
Thank you, Fairly. So for the non-student data, we receive quite a good quality of data. So, I mean, 5 ACEs have submitted the data under partnerships and publication, and no data on accreditation, which is quite normal. And as I was saying, the overall very good quality of data. I think maybe there has been a very good knowledge or experience sharing between centers because of the quality of data that we received for this for the first round. So regarding the total amount available under each of the BBC in Malawi, we disbursed, I mean, for this round, I mean, depending on the final call of IUCA, 9% on the partnerships and 39% on the publication. So I mean, maybe it's time to recall how to have a very good disbursement rate. Next slide, please. Sorry. Yeah, next, please. So how to prepare for the next round, and the best practices are to follow the World Bank and IUCA guidelines using the latest verification template to add new data. and also clearly mention that the date of submission of the new data in the template. And as Feli said earlier, please don't submit data already verified and disbursed in this new round. Next slide, please. So what are the eligibility criteria for the accreditations? So accredited program should be a master or PhD and accredited by a national or international body. So there's no double disbursement, and accreditation should not be expired. So you need to share the accreditation letter specifying the program name as well as the validity period and all relevant information, because that's what we use to do the verification. And for international accreditation specifically, please share letters or documentation that can justify if the program is internationally joined. That means maybe the institution has a global rank, is in the top 750 plus international accredited program. So this is really important to have like all documentation justifying internationally joint program. For international accreditation, the letter and documentation from the accrediting body is enough for us to do the verification, because we contact them and then they confirm the accreditation so that we can disburse the amount. Next slide, please. So for the partnerships, a partnership is eligible only if the center have at least one verified partnership with the private sector organization, which exclude higher education institution and research institution, even if they are private. So the MOU should detail the work plan and the budget, which is showing commitment of both partners. So that means contract or service contract with an entity is not eligible because there's no commitment from both parties. In terms of budget and work plan, and the MOU need to be valid for a minimum of 2 years. And it must have the signatures of both partner institutions in the MOU. For publications, eligibility criteria. Next slide, please. Oh, okay. So this is like a detailed example of MOU showing contribution of partners and the role of partners in the work plan. And as I said, the partnership should be valid for at least 2 years. You should also provide relevant documentation with all the required information in the MOU and also the annexes to allow verification. So publications, eligible documents are articles or conference papers that are published in a peer-reviewed journal and have been published after January 2016. The publication must include an author from the submitting ACE and must be in the Scopus reference journal. So we came across some issues. Not really issues, but it will be depending on the approval of UC and the World Bank, like especially when the ACEs are in the same university, in the same country, sometimes they share publications. So sometimes we need to be careful, because if we disburse one publication under another ACE, then the publication won't be disbursed under the other ACE, even if they submitted the same paper. So be mindful of that. Next slide, please. Yeah, I think that's all for the non-student data. Thank you for your time. Now you can ask any question and we are available to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vero and Stephanie, for the presentation. I think we can take some questions. Okay, let me start with Wise Future.
Yeah, my question is simple. Where are the results?
Thank you. Where are the results?
Yeah, thank you. My question with reference to the journals, you have indicated that it's only those that are indexed in Scopus. Yet we have got so many indices, IBBS, ISIS, Norwegian, Cielo. Why Scopus alone? Because some references in Scopus can appear in the other parts. So why not including those accredited indexing instead of just concentrating at Scopus alone?
Thank you. Climate smart.
Yeah. Thank you, Dixon, and thank you, Technopolis. You have been doing really a voluminous and very hard job the whole years that you have been with us. And we have also been trying to fulfill your requirements, so most of the things were not easy. And for sure, we have missed some of the DLRs because of the problems related to verification. We observed some irregularities, actually, if I have to say. I can, for instance, cite a case. When students, PhD students are exchanged in universities, in the country, like local national exchange, they are recognized. And last time, during the final verification, we've submitted students coming from different countries who have gone back to their own countries and did research exchange in research institutions and the universities. And for the reasons that we don't know, they were all rejected in our case. You've said the nationality and where they have gone for the exchange is the same country. And in that case, you said you don't consider. And we are wondering why if a student doing national exchange, if that is considered, why, for instance, a Ugandan student who came to Ethiopia for study, go back to Uganda, did his exchange, why is that not considered? Because you didn't consider.
Can I jump in already to respond to this point directly? If there are specific students that you have questions about, or that you think that we might have made an error, please send us or send Dixon an email with the specific issue and the specific students, and we're more than happy to have a look at that. In general, for the exchanges, it's decided whether it's a national or a regional exchange based on the location of the center. I know for all other DLIs, we look at the nationality of the students, but for the exchanges, we look at the location of the center to establish whether it's a national or regional exchange, which might explain why you're getting slightly different results than you're expecting. Stephanie, do you want to respond to the point about the Scopus publication?
Yeah, sure. So it's part of our methodology, and we use Scopus also because Scopus covers a broader range of subjects and indexes a lot of more journals than other database. So it's quite very comprehensive, so we can cover all the different topics that your centers are covering, and we have more journals in this database than others. So I think it's better we use this one than other database. And there was a question about where are the results. So I think this is directed to Dixon.
Yeah, we've shared the results with IUCA and the World Bank, and we are in discussions with them about finalizing them. And the second they are finalized, I think they will be shared with you.
Okay, I think can take some more questions.
Hello, Technopolis. This is Richard Edema from Makerere University with Mercy. So the question I'm going to ask has nothing to do with Mercy, it's general. One of the verifications that was done as a special case, and maybe I missed in the presentation now, was about completion of students in the S. I don't think I saw any numbers on it here, you know. So how did that particular verification benefit us?
Okay, so that verification is the academic accomplishment survey that I referred to. So there we checked for all the master students to see if they were if they had completed their master, and if that was the case, then that amount counts towards your academic accomplishment disbursement. I didn't put the numbers in the slides because it ended up being an Excel sheet of over 25 different rows. But we can share the overall response rates and the verification rates based on that with you, of course, after the presentation.
Thank you. Could you check the question online?
There's a question in the chat about if we're going to have another round of verifications. At the moment, we have not planned for this as the process closes, the disbursement process closes, as far as we understand, at the end of December. So that's not something we foreseen.
Thank you, Technopolis. My question is on PPC. Maybe you gave us results for national accreditation, but I did not see any results on international accreditation.
We can hear you very well, so I don't know. Maybe it's only me that have the issue.
No,
Can you repeat the question?
there's an issue with the audio.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you can repeat the question.
I'm saying that you gave us results for PPC 3 on national accreditation, but on that slide, I did not see any results for the national accreditation, which most of us are really waiting to see the results for that verification. Kindly make a comment on that.
Dixon, could you repeat that question? It was
thank
not
you.
clear, yeah.
The question was about results for international or grade program.
I think we have the same issue.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but there is an issue with the audio again.
I just heard national accreditation. That's the only thing that I could heard. But
Yeah.
okay.
There is a question in the chat about for new centers if there's possibility of a second verification in 2024. For the student data, we are foreseeing only one round of verification there. Okay. So for the new centers under ACE2 additional financing, help me with this, Stephanie, because we are foreseeing one round of student verification, but were we foreseeing 2 rounds or 1 round of non-student verification?
Oh, I mean, for the next round, I don't know yet, like what's the exact timeline. I think it's 1 round. Okay. So the question is like, why result on international accreditation was not included in the presentation? Okay. Yes. So I mean, yeah, I understand. So basically, just because sometimes for the H2 centers, I mean, it takes only 2 international accreditation to have the capped amount reached. So that's why we don't insist on international accreditation, also because of the length of the process. But for national accreditation is kind of maybe easier and take more accreditation to reach the cap. So that's why we put a special emphasis on the national accreditation. But we can still do a presentation, I mean the slide with the amount for the international accreditation in the slide. So maybe if you want to have this information, we can submit, we can send it to you. And also it's available in the center individual report that we have like the detail of the capped amount for each of the each type of accreditation. So maybe for, I don't know, I won't say for next time, but I take the question. I will try to do something on national accreditation and send it over to you so that we can have a look on what are the numbers. The verification round for H2, I mean, it's closed already. So we would depend on IEC if they want us to do an extra round of verification, because yeah, that's I understand the question, because some of the accreditation later maybe will be submit in December. Then the process of international accreditation will be completed in December this year. So I mean, it's up to IEC and the World Bank to decide if they want to do like a final round for H2. But we heard that this was the last round. So I mean, it's not it will depend on IEC and the World Bank. But that was the last verification run for us. So we are not verifying any additional non-student data.
I can come in on this as a small Shri.
Yeah, go ahead.
And Jonathan, please feel free to add to this. But I think if we get the certificates for regional or international accreditation, we will consider those certificates, and IUCA can verify those for us.
Okay, thank you so much. Ruth McGregor from the Agricultural Policy Analysis Center of Excellence from Malawi, Ghana. I would like to know, when are we going to get the results for the other PPCs? Great that you share with us for the analysis data, and also how long it will take.
Sorry, Dixon, we couldn't hear that question.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
No, sorry. We
Okay,
can
so-
hear someone is speaking, but the quality is so bad that we can't understand what you're saying.
If you can send a message in the chat so that we can read and answer to the question, that would be better.
Should I talk?
Oh,
Yes, that's much better.
yes, that's much
Okay.
better.
So I'm Ruth McGregor from Malawi. My question is, when are we getting results for the other PBCs? And also, how long is it going to take for us, for you to unlock, or for the World Bank to unlock the money that we have managed to achieve so far? Because you see the percentages are still low. We have now and March to work and to unlock the other money. And the other thing is there any consideration for a special verification exercise within 2024? Because if we only get one verification exercise, then it means we'll have little funds to operate and to unlock the remaining money. So what's there for us. Is there any consideration for that special verification exercise? Thank you.
So regarding your first point about when will you get the results, we have a discussion set up with the World Bank and IUCA next week. And hopefully based on that discussion, we will be able to finalize the results and share those with you. Your question about the funds, I will have to ask Mosri to jump in there.
Sure, I can take that question. So the process is that once you've achieved the results, the ministry sends us a request letter, and based on the request letter and the verification reports, we issue a disbursement notification letter. So as soon as we have the verification reports and the request letters from the ministry, we will be able to process the letters, and the disbursement happens soon after that.
There was a question relating to a special round. I don't know, Masha, if you want to jump in as well.
I think we'll have to, I think Jonathan may have to come in on that.
Okay, perfect.
And we can discuss with IUCA on the frequency of rounds of verification for next FY.
So far, we have foreseen that in 2025, we'll have 2 rounds at least of verification. For 2024, as far as I'm aware, we've discussed at least 1 round of student verification. And I think also for non-student verification, but we need to double check that.
Yeah, thanks, Worley. Yeah, that was my understanding too, but I wanted to confirm with IUCA on that.
Yeah. Are there any other questions? If not, then thank you for allowing us to be here and to give this presentation. If there are specific points regarding to your ACE or your results that you don't understand, please put it in writing towards Dixon and Dr. Jonathan, and they will forward it to us and we can have a look to see if adjustments need to be made based on that.
Dixon, just wanted to confirm if we have no more questions. We don't hear anything from the room.
There is, the sound seems to be.
Yes, it's back.
Is it good now?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Were there any further questions?
Okay, I think let me start with the issue of special verification, additional round next year. This will be discussed internally in office and we make a decision on this, but maybe one of the considerations we can make is to slightly delay the March session, but this will be reviewed based on a number of factors. So we will get back to the new SS on this. With respect to when the results will be out, next week, we have a meeting between IUCA, the bank, and Technopolis. After that, the results will be released. And when the results are released, there will be a letter from the executive secretary to your ministries, which you will use to claim for your money through the formal procedure within the country. I think that's any more question? Yes, Yusuf.
I think the issue of the results for international accreditation has not been addressed, specifically for the SE2. It is very critical, at least the summary to show, because I believe there are centers which have submitted their data for verification.
Yes, I think when Stephanie was explaining, the sound was not very clear. Maybe you can just restate it for members.
Okay. So I think Marshall responded to that, saying that for the center that have not received maybe the accreditation later till now, IUC and World Bank will do if they receive the certificate, they will do the verification. But for us, there's no additional round for the H2.
Yeah, thanks, Stephanie. Yeah, anything verified before December 31st, we will consider that for disbursement.
Okay, any other question, members? Yeah, I think, thank you so much. I seem not to see any more hands up. Thank you so much, Technopolis team, for taking time to share with us the result and for the good work well done. We look forward to seeing our results very soon. I see Prof. Hans is okay, thank you. And I think we can close this session here. We wish you well, thanks. And then we can now move to, I hand now back to Dr. Jonathan. I think that is all for this session.
Thank you, Worley. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Then we have this presentation from the student. Okay, so I think we have presentation from students. We have 4 students that are going to make some presentation. So the presenters, we can start with, you can come closer, and I hope your presentation is already with the IT team. Okay. So that is, okay, Karina, you're welcome. So you can manage this session, if you don't mind. So that as we call them, you. Okay, so Prof. Antonio will manage this session. Please, Prof.
Good afternoon, everyone. This time we'll be doing the presentation from the students of postgrad students from the Center of Excellence in Oil and Gas. We have 5 students. Those students are doing their dissertation in MSc thesis. And also we have some proposals for PhD, because we're starting taking some PhD students from this year in energy. So the 5 students, 2 of them are doing the MSc in petroleum engineering. So they'll be presenting their research in petroleum engineering, and 3 students will be presenting their topics in MSc in hydrocarbon processing. So to start with, I'll call upon Karina. She will be presenting results. She is a PhD candidate. She's starting now, but now she's presenting the results of her research during the master's program that she finished 2 years ago. Karina, could you?
Good afternoon to all. I have said to many thanks for the opportunity to present the results of the effect of renew promotion on platinum serial catalyst activity for the water gas shift reaction. Next. The present will cover a small introduction, the experimental part, some results and discussion, and the main conclusion. Next. Water gas shift reaction is the great interest in petrochemical plant to adjust the carbon monoxide level and the hydrogen carbon monoxide ratio for ammonia synthesis and the Fischer-Tropsch process to increase the production of hydrogen and to reduce the concentration of carbon monoxide, which can poison the anode of fuel cells. Industrially, the reaction ran in 2 stages, starting for high temperature, which use iron and chrome catalyst, and at high temperature, the reaction is limited by thermodynamic, followed by the low temperature shift, which is second stage. And at this stage, use copper, zinc, and alumina. Okay. And at the second stage, this reaction is limited by the kinetic. Despite these 2 stages are very used for long years in industry, they are interested to develop active metal with good performance and the beta characteristics to carry out the reaction 1 stage at intermediate temperature and then reduce the production cost. Next, please. The main objective of this research was to investigate the water gas shift conversion of a renew modified platinum serial catalyst with aim to achieve high catalyst activity for carbon monoxide conversion at intermediate temperature between 275 degrees centigrade to 325 degrees centigrade. And it was hypothesized that renew promoter improve performance of platinum serial catalyst for water gas shift reaction with respect to activity. And some question pertain, do renew promoter improve the activity of platinum serial catalyst in the water gas shift reaction? Next. The experimental part will cover the catalyst preparation, catalyst characterization, and catalyst testing. Next. The catalysts were prepared via incipient wetness impregnation, where was mixed some calculated solution of chloroplatinic acid as hydrated and estimated cereal powder. This mixture was after dried to 120 degrees centigrade, holding for 3 hours and then was calcined and crushed to obtain 0.58% of platinum in series support. After that was added the calculated stock solution of ammonia perrhenate and followed this sum condition to get 0.5 platinum renew series catalyst. Next. These catalysts were characterized by hydrogen temperature programmed reduction to examine the reducibility of this metal present in the catalyst and its reduction temperature, and the nitrogen adsorption to determine the BET surface area, which will allow determination of the loss of area during the calcination of the catalyst. Next. The experiment were run using the Florence equipment, which is composed by 3 units, starting for the feed section, where we have 5 mass flow controllers, namely carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, hydrogen, and helium, and 1 Kesha part of water. This dry mixture and the water is mixed to form wet gas before introduced in the reactor. The reactor block is formed by 4 blocks. Each blocks have 4 reactors, summing up 6 vertical bed reactors. Each reactor has 300 millimeter of length and 2 millimeter of inner diameter. The product of the reactor go downstream to the parallel back pressure regulator and send to the stream of selector valve to analyze of each current. Next. The reactor was loading starting from silicon carbide. After that was introduced a small amount of quartz fuel and the defined amount of catalyst. After that was introduced again the small amount of quartz wool and silicon carbide. The catalyst was inserted according to the isothermal zone of the reactor. Next. Before the reaction, the catalyst was reducted. This reduction was carried out in situ to avoid the contamination with oxygen. If the catalyst in the contact with oxygen can reduce and make this catalyst unusable. Was reducted agent flow using 10% hydrogen and 9% nitrogen. After that was heating from temperature room to 350 at a rate of 2 degrees centigrade per minute. This reduction was holding for 3 hours and it was purge of nitrogen, and after that was cooled to the start reaction temperature. Next. The reaction was carried out at 3 different temperatures, so-called medium temperature shift range, and all steps were carried out at atmospheric pressure. Next. The catalyst were calculated to the some weight before introduced in the reactor and the pre-estimate space velocity to reaction. Next. This figure shows the results of hydrogen temperature reduction of two catalysts, where we can see that the first peak of the platinum series catalyst occurred at about 200 degrees centigrade, and the same for platinum rhenium series, also one peak, but with less temperature. This reduction of temperature can show us that the addition of rhenium can somewhat facilitate the reduction of platinum oxide species in the catalyst. Next. About the BET results, we can see that there are no difference of surface area and no difference in total pore volume, but the prepared catalyst, there are the surface area lower than the commercial support used in the experiment. Next. And about the catalyst activity, this analysis was made using the carbon monoxide conversion rate in relation of time on stream, and we can see for both catalysts, for increasing the temperature, we can see that the carbon monoxide conversion also increased. And if we add the rhenium, the carbon monoxide conversion double the rate. The addition of rhenium to platinum series increased the catalyst activity substantially. Next. As a conclusion, we can say that the catalyst activity increased with temperature, and the catalyst of platinum rhenium series demonstrated that the rhenium is a good activity booster for platinum series catalyst, since under its presence the catalyst duplicate. Next. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Karina, for your presentation. Next one now is Mauro. Okay. Yeah, Mauro. Eh? Yeah. Such a brave
Good afternoon, everyone. As Professor Kumbani has already introduced, I'm Mauro de Graças Mão, and I'm here to present the main findings of my dissertation, master dissertation, on the implementation of methane pyrolysis in molten gas for ammonia production. So next slide. As we know, ammonia is the most used fertilizer culture sector. And this commodity is mainly produced through the Haber-Bosch process. So this process combines hydrogen and nitrogen into ammonia. The nitrogen comes from air through a distillation process, but the hydrogen comes through the steam reforming technology. And this is the technology that has a high carbon footprint. So the idea nowadays is to look for a technology that is more environmental friendly to produce hydrogen so that we can have a green ammonia technology. In this dissertation, I looked at methane pyrolysis, which is a technology that cracks the methane into hydrocarbon and solid hydrogen, and solid carbon without the emission of CO2. As you can see on this figure, we have methane resulting in carbon, solid carbon, and hydrogen without CO2. And there are different ways to perform methane pyrolysis. And here we have molten salt as the technology selected because of the easiness of separating the hydrogen and the carbon that's produced in this reactor, this bubble column reactor. Next slide. I think that we have the wrong version here, but okay, I will explain. On this slide, I present the methodology that I used. So in order to have the results that I had on the study, I had to perform a simulation, a numerical simulation of the bubble column reactor that produced the hydrogen by combining equations of mass balance and energy balance in a numerical model. And also I used a commercial simulator for process engineering plants, which is Aspen ISIS, to simulate the process of production of ammonia. So that simulator also performs the mass balance, the heat integration, the heat balance, and also the design and sizing of the equipment for that plant. Next slide, please. Here I present you the main results of the study. The first graph shows the profiles of the species on the bubble column reactor, where we load the methane and then we have hydrogen and carbon. And on the other side, on the first graph, we have the conversion of methane to hydrogen, which is 92% of conversion. On this figure here, more to the right, we have the species profile on the ammonia converter. So we have a conversion, or we can have a conversion of almost 20% per pass using this process. Next. Oh, before we go, I had down there the energy demand of the plant in terms of gigajoule per ton, the energy that we need to supply to produce hydrogen and ammonia as an integrated plant, and also an estimated CAPEX and OPEX for the plant. Next, here summarize a sensitivity study of the plant, as we know that the market is always dynamic. Prices of things are always changing. So I present a sensitive analysis of that plant looking at natural gas price, which is the main feedstock for methane, and also the carbon price, which is a sub-product of this process that has high impact on the profitability or feasibility of the project. So from this graph here on the left, we can see that this technology depends on the price of this black carbon that we can sell to the market. So for the conditions that I had, we can have these technologies feasible for carbon prices over $500,000 per ton. And finally, I summarize here the main conclusions. With this dissertation, we saw that we can convert methane into hydrogen with 92% of conversion. We saw also the CAPEX and the OPEX of the technology that are somehow lower when compared to the technologies that are currently used, which is methane steam reforming. And we also saw here that technology relies on the carbon price selling on the market. And finally, that's all for my dissertation, master dissertation.
Now we'll call upon Glorios. Glorios, it's our regional students from Rwanda. She's doing petroleum engineering, so she'll also presenting research. Yeah. So could you please load the presentation from Glorios? Okay.
Thank you. Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gloria Maria. I am from Rwanda. I'm doing a master's in petroleum engineering here at UM. I'm going to present my current research, which is assessment of reservoir communication through production history analysis. This research is being done under an oil field located in northern part of the North Sea, and it is under this management that it shows that this field is located below the sea level, within 2,400 and 3,400 meters, within the rotated fault blocks, which brings the many uncertainties about the field. On the left, go back, please. On the left pictures, it shows the sandstone formations of the oil field. On the right side, we have the field main platforms. Next. The main problem of this work is that the oil field under study has shown the rapid decline of pressure, which made the implementation of recovery techniques to be taken sooner than it was expected. Normally, for a reservoir to produce, there must be fluid communication between reservoir segments to flow toward the production well. However, when this communication becomes too high and ineffective, it causes some fluids to prematurely move to the production well. And those fluids, such as water or gas, when they break through to the production well, they cause some problems like they reduce hydrocarbon recovery or cause some operational problems. In some cases, the issue can bring also fluids or hydrocarbon to move outside of the reservoir. And next. Next, again. Please, next. Yeah, the main objective of this work is to find out the reason behind this rapid decline of the pressure by evaluating the level of communication between reservoir segments of our field. Next. Yeah, the main methodology, we will do analysis of pressure and the production analysis. Then after, we will carry out material balance modeling. Next. Yeah, the graph we are seeing here, it shows the pressure variation during production. And I will be able to explain this graph in the coming slides together with the other graphs. Can you go next 2 times? Next again. Again. Yes, this is the overall of the 3 graphs that shows the pressure production and injection history of our oil field under the study. The first graph is the pressure variation graph. It shows how pressure changed during production. At the start, when there is no pressure maintenance, like when the reservoir started to produce, it is able to produce by itself without any support, without any external drive mechanism. That is where you can see where the pressure is decreasing as the fluid are moving outside of the reservoir pores. But at some point, pressure decreases to the extent it gets at a certain value, which is incapable of keeping the production to go on. That's where you introduce drive mechanism or pressure maintenance techniques. That's where they used water injection. You see the graph below is the water injection graph. So once you introduce water, you inject water, it kept the pressure to go on. You see the graph of pressure has gone back after injection of water. So once the pressure goes back, production, the middle graph shows how the production is going, production of oil, water, and gas. As you can see, there are 3 graphs inside there. So once you start injecting water, the production starts to keep going on after the pressure has gone back. So the production keep going on. At some point, when water injection you see is not enough to keep your production, you can introduce gas. Here they introduce the gas injection. As gas is less viscous than water, it can move faster through the production powers so that it can keep the production higher than water injection. Next. Yeah, as I'm still working on this research, here we have a preliminary outcomes or findings. Can you go back a little bit on the pressure graph, please? Back again on the previous, the biggest side, the big size. Back then. Yes, this is the graph of pressure history. So on our findings, if we see here in the middle, there are a very sharp pressure decline. And also here, this happened during pressure maintenance process. It wasn't supposed to decrease to this extent. It was supposed to change normally, like you can see in the middle. But since here it has sharply decreased, and here it shows that there is something wrong going on in the reservoir. Maybe some fluids are moving outside of the reservoir. This is our preliminary finding. Go next. 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 Yes, a way forward on my work is we evaluate historical PVT properties and perform material balance. Then we will do sensitivity analysis on our parameters in material balance calculations. Go next. Next. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Glorious. So let us give a clap for those students. We still have 2 more, but due to the time that has gone, so we'll stop here, unfortunately. Yeah. Oh, can we present one more? Chelsea. This one's shorter, just 2 minutes, because just be showing 4 slides. Yeah, this one should be showing 4 slides. Chelsea.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, everyone. I'm Chelsea, master dissertation student of hydrocarbon processing engineer of Eduardo Mondlane University. Now on, I'm studying the use of cashew nut shell liquid as a corrosion inhibitor in natural gas produced water treatment. Next. Natural gas is a complex mixture of hydrocarbon and non-hydrocarbon constituents obtained from underground reservoir. Once brought from underground, natural gas is graded, separated, and processed to remove impurities and unwanted compounds, to transmit through a network of pipelines and meet high value in the market. The separation stage in natural gas recovery is the first attempt to remove natural gas liquid, water, and dirt that accompany natural gas coming from the ground. Natural gas liquids must usually be removed from natural gas. As we see in the graph, is a typical central processing facility that clean up the gas, removing the water and the condensate. In the first stage, we have upstream, which is a natural gas wells there, which be onshore or offshore. Then we have 3 stages of separation that consists first on recovery natural gas in higher pressure using technologies such as slug catcher. Then the gas follow for further treatment. And for water, we have second stage separation, which is water and oil drum. Then the water flows for further treatment before disposal. As we know, as we see in the graph in the bottom, we see the when the oil field is operating, we have large quantities of water producing. As we see below is here of field production, and in the vertical we have production volume of water in the blue, and oil production with black color. Next. So water management is required. It is being proposed first to reduce the production of water in the well production, in the natural gas extraction, but inserting some blocking gel to the fracture to not allow the water flowing through the pipe until the production facility. Then we have reuse of produced water, which is irrigation. We can use water for irrigation, thus control drilling, or maybe for drinking water. But this management issue requires high treatment of water. We have to treat very well water before use for beneficial uses. Then we have the third use for water, which is inject into formation. The injection is used to enhance oil or gas recovery in the reservoir, as Glorious was presenting here. Then we have discharge to environment, which is required also a very robust infrastructure to treat the water. The most recommended management of produced water is injection. Then there is some main requirements before injection, which to keep the injectivity, which is we have to control the solids, the particles in the water, remove some harmless disposal, and remove some gases and dust, bacteria, which is shown here. Then to reach this is applied chemicals. The most effective chemicals that is applying is the organical chemicals representing as corrosion inhibitor containing heteroatoms such as oxygen, potassium, and nitrogen. But we know that this is synthetic chemicals. What we want in this work is find applicability for an eco-friendly and organic chemical. Next. Next, please. Was found that the cashew nut shell liquid is a prosperous eco-friendly corrosion inhibitor, which have ability to absorb the metal surface and form a protective film that reduce the electrochemical reaction of corrosion. We have here the cashew nut shell liquid can be produced by the cashew. As we see, Mozambique occupied the 10th stage in the most producing of cashew. And this is an opportunity for us as a country, Mozambique, and this value chain is already applicable in Mozambique. The cashew nut shell liquid is being extracted from industry such as Condor, Indo-Africa, and other manufacturers that produce cashew nuts above 5,000 of raw cashew nuts. Next, please. And as already said, to manage the use of synthetic pipeline antioxidants, I'm studying this cashew nut shell liquid as corrosion inhibitor of produced water treatment for oil and gas. Thank you.
Thank you, Chelsea. Now we'll call upon Shansi Sindambwe. Is also our regional student from Rwanda again. Also is doing MSc in petroleum engineering. He will be presenting something in formation evaluation.
Good afternoon. My name is Chance, like Professor said. I'm going to present the topic in petroleum engineering. When we are producing hydrocarbon, we need first to know how much hydrocarbon which is in the reservoir. So we don't know exact amount, we estimate the value. Go to the first. Next slide. Okay. So to do that, we have what we call well logs. So the well logs give us some information about the formation, how we can have some hydrocarbon there in horizon. So from this plot, we go on the site and we take some well logs. Here we have data of 4 logs. Those four well logs, they are the one which are going to give us the information about the hydrocarbon, how much the hydrocarbon we have inside. If I say hydrocarbon, you understand gas and oil. Go to the next. The methodology we used here, we imported the well logs, the well data in a software called TechLog. Then we brought the well logs and we created the zonation. The zonations are the parts which have the effective porosities. And then we harmonize and we determine the petrophysical parameters. After that, we select the zone of interest. As we are like petroleum engineer, we are focused on that, and that we calculate the oil price or stock tank oil gas price. Go to the next. Those are some petrophysical parameters we analyzed in software. We analyzed the formation temperature. We assumed first that at the surface is 74 Fahrenheit and the bottom is 208 Fahrenheit. Then we analyzed the shell volume using gamma rays and neutron porosity. And we analyzed effective porosity using neutron and density rays. Finally, we analyzed the porosity and water saturation by Ausch's law. Then we plotted the summaries of the shell. Go to the next. On the result and conclusion, we are going to see what we did. Next. So those are the well logs. We have the data of 4 well logs. The first one, as you can see, is the well layout we plotted, and the second, and the third one, and the fourth one. So in those well logs, we have to analyze, like I said, gamma rays and the porosity rays. So here, what we are focused, we are seeing which region should have at least some amount of hydrocarbon. Once you see, like I can show you in the second column, you can see what we call resistivity. The more we have higher resistivity, the more we can have the possibility of hydrocarbon in the reservoir. So in the second column, the resistivity there is low, even the third one, the second one. But on the third one, in the zonation B, you can see in the middle column, the resistivity is somehow higher than the other wells. Well 4, you can see that no changes happen. We have a lot of waters. Continue to the next. Yeah, the wells are continuity because they are too long. They are on a depth of 4,250 kilometers. Go to the next. So in the quantitative interpretation, we are detecting the zone of interest. So by using those gamma rays, like in formation porosity, we used to analyze using those gamma rays for lithology and the neutron porosity to find the presence of the hydrocarbon in certain zones. So by considering the horizon, we confirmed that the well number 3, go to the next, the well number 3 is the one which have the possible of hydrocarbon. Next one. So the well 1 and 2, we neglected and we continue further research on the well number 3. Next one. So well number 3, it gives us the summaries of how can we say that this is the possible presence of a hydrocarbon. By seeing there in zonation B, you can see the presence of water is bit low. But in the zonation A, we have higher amount of water, which is obviously shows that there is no presence of hydrocarbon. In the zonation C, in the zonation C in the middle column, you can see that we have a certain amount of hydrocarbon, but is not too high because we have water saturation also, which is a high amount. And we have the depths of the thickness of the logs, which has the presence of hydrocarbon. Next one. So this is the summary table. You can see these two last table. I mean column. You can see that in well number 3, we have average porosity, which is 0.23, and the average water saturation, which is 0.2. Comparing to the zone number 3, the presence of hydrocarbon must be where we have the good porosity and the low amount of water saturation, which is zone number B. The next one. So according to the summaries, what they are in the software, we have the thickness. So if we have the thickness and we have the area, because those data were compassed to the area of 18 kilometers square, we can calculate a certain amount of oil, gas in the press, which is there in the reservoir. So this is the stock tank original oil in the press, which is got 2.5 times 10 power 9 stock tank oil. And the ultimate oil which can be recovered is 1.5 times 10 power 9 stock tank oil. Next one. And the presence of the hydrocarbon, they are mostly related to the sandstone region. Next one. Yeah, like I said, is in sandstone region according to the glove. Next. So by conclusion, based on the result, the well number 3 is giving us the more good net pay zone, and it is by using this petrophysical interpretation, we can recommend that this well number 3 has a presence of hydrocarbon. You can continue the process of production. And another things, according to the petrophysical analysis, we can say that zone B is the one which has a good porosity and low water saturation. So the value of original gas oil in the press is 3.27 times 10 power 9 barrels. So thank you.
Thank you, Shans. I don't know if there is any question from audience. You can take 1 or 2 questions, burning questions. Any questions to the students? No, it seems that there's no question. So let us give the last round of clap to the students.
Thank you so much, Prof. And thanks a lot to the student. I think it was a very good presentation, and some of us who left school a few years ago saw a bit of stars, but it's okay. We will try and catch up. So thanks a lot. And I think we are breaking for lunch, then we return for the official closing ceremony. Lunch is in the same place, Nelson? Yes, same place, floor 1 up. Enjoy your lunch.